Welcome to Champions Network TV in collaboration with NDWG TV. In this special broadcast, we bring you a press conference held by the National Democratic Working Group, NDWG Harare Province, on the 9th of March 2026. During this conference, key members of the group presented their official positions on Constitutional Amendment 3 and Agenda 2030, shedding light on their perspectives and the impact of these developments on the future of Zimbabwe. Let's hear them address members of the media community.
To pass a law which will be plugged into governance systems in this country. So that notice, that gazette, is to be debated for 3 months, 90 days, by the citizens of this country, in their homes, in their businesses, in their works, in their travels, even at their funeral. That notice, so that is the theme of this press conference. The Supreme Council of the National Democratic Working Group met to discuss the 2030 Constitutional Amendment number 3 Bill of 2026 as the people, as the masses of Zimbabwe. As you would know, the National Democratic Working Group is 2 years old now in our consultative process, and that the nation has mandated us, the people have mandated us to submit this decision publicly, to make this announcement. So the decision that was made by the Supreme Council, National Democratic Working Group, is that our social justice movement, representing its members and representing the masses of this country, rejects, the decision is to reject vehemently the 2030 Constitutional Amendment number 3 Bill of 2026. The decision was made or is justified by the observation that the members of the Supreme Council made in our discussions on Sunday, this past Sunday. The reason for the rejection is that the ideas in the bill, the proposed ideas in the bill, emanating from the cabinet of Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa's presidential government, those ideas did not come from the people of Zimbabwe. That is the first reason why the National Democratic Working Group has decided to reject that proposition. That is the first reason. The ideas were not derived from the people. The second reason is that that proposal is being made by an illegitimate government. We all know that in 2023, Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa was not legitimately elected to occupy the office of president, state president. There is ample evidence of various observer missions. There is ample evidence of various citizens of Zimbabwe who witnessed the fact that Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa was not legitimately elected in office. as he stands, he is running an illegitimate government, which means that the authority he has was not derived from the people of Zimbabwe. That is the second reason for the NWG's rejection. We go on to the third reason for this decision, is that it is a reversal of the objectives of the people of Zimbabwe when they engaged colonial governments in Rhodesia. The people of Zimbabwe embarked on a liberation struggle, which ended up being armed liberation struggle. And a 14-year-old war was fought in this country, in this land called Zimbabwe, by the sons and daughters of Zimbabwe, by the people of Zimbabwe. That liberation struggle was in order for the people to establish a civilian, constitutional, democratic government. That was the main reason why sons and daughters of this country took up arms to form a civilian, constitutional, democratic government. In other words, a government that would be elected by us all in free and fair elections, held during peaceful times when we enjoy competition in elections, as we enjoy our various sports activities like soccer. If we have Highlanders and the Caps playing, if you have this team and that team, we watch with happiness, and at the end of the game, we shake hands and say, thank you, the winners, thank you, the winners. The story goes on. So that is the reason why the country went to war, to fight for a people-driven democracy. That is the third reason that the NDWG cited in rejecting. The fourth reason is that the system of government that Zimbabweans want is a civilian, constitutional, democratic government. What it means is, it's a government established by a constitution. That is an agreement by citizens of this country to establish a government. And that government finds the people's power that is institutionalized in a constitution, so that the people of Zimbabwe establish a government structure, which means there shall be a parliament where people's representatives elected in a free election gather. There shall be the various arms of government, like the executive, which shall be headed by a president. This is the understanding in the minds of the citizens, to say it is the people who establish a constitution which establishes structures of government. So the third leg of the government, apart from the legislature, the executive, is the judiciary. So the people say there shall be a judiciary, which shall now complete the organ of government. So the fourth reason that the NDWG cited was that the proposed 2030 Constitutional Amendment number 3 Bill of 2026 is a plot to destroy the three arms of government. In other words, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The people have an agreement that those three arms of government provide checks and balances so that not one leg will do it all. In other words, not one leg will produce a dictatorship in the country or a personal rule in the country. So the three arms of government, this is the understanding the citizens are having in their own constitution. These three arms should remain separate, operating separately to serve the interests of Zimbabwe as the government, to provide public goods. In other words, public leadership, the social, political, economic order is brought in the country through the machinery of government. This is the understanding of the citizens of Zimbabwe. This is the constitution of the people of Zimbabwe. I was on the fourth reason that there is a conspiration to demolish the state of balance where the three arms of government check against each other so that there's no abuse of the people, so that there continues to be public services offered by a government, creation of employment, the health institution, the industry, education, homes, housing, and the macro management of the national wealth for the benefit of all citizens of this country. That can only happen in a civilian government elected, which works with the three arms of government checking each other so that there's no dictatorship, there's no destruction. That was the fourth reason. There are other reasons that were also observed by the National Democratic Working Group in its rejection of this. If you look at this could be the fifth reason, that the executive branch of government has corrupted the functions of the other two arms of government, namely the legislature and the judiciary. They have been corrupted and now they have been rendered dysfunctional. This is the fourth reason. Such that the presidential arm of government is the one that expresses its will on the people of Zimbabwe. The judiciary is absent, is captured. The legislature is absent, is captured. So the idea of Mnangagwa in proposing the 2030 amendment, constitutional amendment, bill number 3, is for him, Emerson Mnangagwa, to remove a civilian constitutional government by replacing it, to remove it so that he could replace it with a personal dynastic rule, which you call a monarchy type of government. It's like the government which is formed by the king and in a country. The NDWG observed a very serious point in that regard, that the proposed constitutional amendment bill seeks to ban public elections, general elections, elections that are an integral part of a civilian constitutional government. We all know here, as citizens of this country, that we were in agreement, all of us, that the next general elections will be held in 2028, so that the citizens of the Zimbabwe can elect a new government. Now, the proposed 2030 Constitutional Amendment number 3 Bill of 2026 seeks to ban the holding of elections by the citizens of this country. In other words, the formation of a legitimate democratic government, which should come in, so that it is postponed to 2030 and beyond. That is a very serious abdication of duty by Emerson Mnangagwa of actually defend the constitutional ideals. 5 years were given for the current government to do all it can do and then go back to the people in 2028 for a new election, so that the people will now appoint local government leaders as councillors. Ladies and gentlemen, this Constitutional Amendment number 3 Bill seeks to deny us as the people the right to elect a civilian constitutional government. And that is an insurrection by Mr. Mnangagwa and his government against the interests of the citizens of this country. And therefore, that is a reason that was also observed by the National Democratic Working Group through its Supreme Council deliberations, which were held this last Sunday. I think I've been thorough. And I must conclude by saying there is a transitional constitutional order that was produced in 2013 by the president then, Robert Gabriel Mugabe, and the parliament then. And that parliament had members of parliament from 3 political parties. MDCT for Changirai, MDCM for Mutambala, and ZANU-PF. These were the political parties from which the MPs were appointed into parliament then. And the president was Robert Gabriel Mugabe then. They had formed, as you know, a global political agreement structure, and they had also passed the 19th Amendment to the longest house colonial constitution. And they formed what they called a government of national unity or an inclusive government. And it was during that time that the Constitution Parliamentary Committee, Select Committee, was formed by a parliament then. Honorable Moyo from MDCT was the speaker appointed to form COPA. One chief, Charumbira, Fortune, was a part of that. So the people of Zimbabwe had long demanded a people-driven constitution. But what happened that time was we had a political parties-driven constitution. So that is the interim constitutional order, which was 20th Amendment number 20 Act. And that is what represents now governmental institutionalized power. Now, in terms of that document, which is there today, that Mr. Mnangagwa and his government are quoting, legislative power is derived from the people. In terms of that document, if you go and read section 117, it tells you that the legislative authority is derived from the people of Zimbabwe. Section 88, it tells you the executive authority of Zimbabwe is derived from the people of Zimbabwe. Then section 162 tells you the judicial authority is derived from the people of Zimbabwe. So, if Mr. Mnangagwa is ruling this country according to the understanding, in other words, the constitutional understanding of all of us, he should not conspire to do things that have not come from the people, which means that he should abandon his dangerous experiment of trying to overthrow a people's constitution for his own personal power ambitions. Because this is quite dangerous. This proposal is heavy. The National Democratic Working Group, working through its Supreme Council, therefore is demanding that Mr. Mnangagwa and his government must abandon forthwith this dangerous experiment. So we hope he's going to listen and do what the people have demanded. That should there be any changes, he should come from the people first, because it is the people who create a constitution. Through that constitution, the people create the structure of government. That is the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. And then the people institutionalize, they give duties, they give powers, they give authority to those three arms of government, how they should operate. So any ideas that will defy the right of the people to form a constitution and the right of the people to change the fundamental pillars of that constitution, then that person is embarked on a dangerous experiment, as dangerous as that was led by the colonial regime, particularly Ian Douglas Smith, since 1965, when he declared a UDI, Unilateral Declaration of Independence. And that decision led this nation to a war. And the arms of war were taken, a lot of citizens died from both sides, up to 1980 or 79, when the Lancaster House Agreement was hammered out in Britain. And then the Constitution of Zimbabwe, colonial Lancaster House Constitution of Zimbabwe came in 1980. And that is the document, or the constitutional document, that has been amended 20 times to the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Amendment number 20, Act of 2013. Now, that amendment has now been changed twice. The current bill proposed to change that amendment for the third time. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by saying that we cannot continue with to put Shigamba. I'm sorry to say Shigamba. You know, if your shirt is torn, you repair it with the new that Mr. Mnangagwa will not continue on this dangerous experiment, abandon this, get to the business while you are in that office, give us public service, public goods, lead this nation up to 2028 and vacate office. Allow the citizens. Social justice movement has given him. As you know, we have become the authentic representatives of the people ever since we were launched on 3 March 2024. We can speak authoritatively on our own behalf and also representing the citizens of Zimbabwe. So thank you very much for giving me this audience on behalf of the National Democratic Working Group. I think I've started to deliver a very important decision that the team players here can also endorse. In the National Democratic Working Group, we believe in group leadership, that leadership is a function of a group. We appoint the knocked person, the sharpshooter, to start the debate. Then others will come in with their views, should they have them, to endorse this public announcement of the decision. Thank you very much, Chair. I think I've done what we came here to do initially, and then let me surrender to you.
By National Democratic Working Group, Chairman and Chief Facilitator in the acting capacity, who is the Northern Region Facilitator of National Democratic Working Group. We take 3 questions at a time. You introduce yourself and the organization where you are coming from. Then we check your question.
And what action are you going to take? Because this is already in motion, and after 90 days, I'm sure maybe very soon it will be gazetted. So what action are you going to take to maybe to stop this this bill from passing?
My brother Thomas Matutu. Matuku. Thank you. I did not get you correctly. Sorry for that. My apologies. Brother Maduku, from which organization?
Freelance.
Freelance. Any second question? Well, we can entertain Thomas Maduku's question. Thank you very much for your question. The question reads, what action are you going to take to stop the bill from passing? Since it's almost within the reach of being promulgated with the highest office in Zimbabwe. So here you are. That is the question. Our panels from my far left, Engineer Johnson Mugari, our Chief National Organizer, and then just immediate from him is our President Woman for our women movement, Ms. Sharon Kilov.
Thank you. Since the question was principally directed to me. Yes, Brother Amaduku, we have started the action by calling this press conference to announce a decision from our organization. So we have kick-started the process of stopping the passing of this brutal act on the citizens of this country. So that's number one. We have been at it for quite some time, by the way. Historically, let me remind the members here that on 15 January 2025, we invited you here, members of the media, and we passed again another statement. And let me just read. The heading was Rejection of Emerson Mnangagwa's 2030 Life Presidency Plot in Zimbabwe. That was the theme of the press conference. And let me read to you again the decision here. We, meaning the National Democratic Working Group, unreservedly condemn and reject Emerson Mnangagwa's Prikabe Farm plot to ban the 2028 national elections and impose his 2030 life presidency personal rule in Zimbabwe. This was on 15 January 2025. Then we followed it up again on 18 February 2025, a month later, we invited you here again, and the theme of the press conference was rejection of Emmerson Mnangagwa's 2030 life presidency agenda intensifies in Zimbabwe. That intensification was as follows. Let me read to you again. That in light of our press statement dated 15 January 2025, calling for the resistance and rejection to the Mnangagwa crusade to extend his term of office to 2030 and beyond, we welcome the support of our position, which has been endorsed by the progressive war veterans, led by comrades Blessed Bombshell Geza, who is late now, and Knox Chivero. The message is being spelled out by both Geza and Chivero resonate with the National Democratic Working Group position from the onset. So this was the second pressure. So we are at work. This is the third one. But this third one comes after Mnangagwa defied by going ahead, by passing a resolution in his cabinet, and also by gazetting the 2030 Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill. And so we are moving on with the resistance, democratic resistance, stopping Mr. Mnangagwa and the company from doing what they are conniving or conspiring to do. That is not correct. They must abandon that process. So, yes, further, the National Democratic Working Group is going to make a follow-up from this presser and make public announcements of other decisions and strategies and tactics to take in order to completely defeat this conspiration against the people of Zimbabwe. We will continue to ask citizens of Zimbabwe, as we have done for the past 2 years, for their wisdom, because popular wisdom exceeds the wisdom that is found in our social justice movement. We are aware of that. We are disciples of the people, and where we need direction, we always consult the people, because they are the owners of the power that constitutes the land of Zimbabwe as an entity. They are the people who own the power of government, the people of Zimbabwe. So they shall continue to inform us, and we will continue to unravel. Remember, we are on a journey to have a people's convention as a movement. So we are continuing to get popular wisdom and to get people's views on what action should be taken to prevent Emmerson Mnangagwa and the company from throwing this country into anarchy, into failure, into political, economic, and social upheavals. So we know our agenda and we know our mandate. The people shall continue to speak through us, and we shall be there to provide that leadership as we are doing now. So more is to come in terms of decisions to stop Mnangagwa's government from doing what they are doing, abandoning the people, doing whatever they want in the name of the people, even conspiring to ban the process of forming a government by the people through elections. The real reason, one person, one vote, that this nation went to war for is being subverted, reversed. And what type of government does Mnangagwa think he will have? You members of the press, you should ask Ziambi to say you are abandoning a civilian constitutional government. What type of government are you proposing for citizens of Zimbabwe? But I can say the answer is already there. Mr. Mnangagwa wants to put a constitutional government, replace the constitutional government with some other form of government. So yes, we will continue to do our work as National Democrat working. I hope I've answered you enough. You can take over the chairmanship. He has been sorry. Take over and get more questions here.
All right, thank you very much. If we still have anyone with any pending issue or question to ask, you are free to go ahead. But I normally know media want to quickly spread the news as quickly as possible. Any more questions? Silence means satisfaction.
Interjection is back now.
Now that the first question has been responded, is there any other questions to come, or you are content? We can wrap up. My brother, my sister. Sorry to put you on the wrong category.
My name is NDWG and I'm a freelance journalist. Maybe the follow-up question to Mr. Matu. I just want to find out from your union group, do you really think that you are going to stop the extension? You are going to stop, sorry, Japan's Kumisa bill to generate kind of timber political statement in time.
Thank you, Richard Chirume, for your question. It reads, do you think that you are going to stop the bill from being passed, or it is just a mere statement? Which is a follow-up question to the first question. So you can
Yes, I can start. Yes, we are convinced that we have passions. And also, you are aware that Parliament is in the process of organizing public meetings where all of us are invited to go and speak our minds so that they get the views of the people. But I'm simply saying that we can only do it or stop by discussing and debating as people. And then we relay our decisions to Mr. Mnangagwa and his government for them to abandon what they are doing. If they don't, we simply go back to the people and say, the people of Zimbabwe, we are your disciples. Send us to work. What action do you think you should take to protect yourselves against the leadership that is doing what it wants in government? So the answer of strategies again shall come from the people. So all we do is, this is a very peaceful process. Talk to people, the people will relay their decisions to those who occupy public office, starting with Mr. Mnangagwa himself, because he is occupies the position of state president, and his cabinet, because they are ministers, and the members of parliament, and the councillors. So we believe that ourselves and the people have power and capacity to really stop what is happening. So there's that possibility. And the people have more power that exceeds that of a government. As we have stated that constitutionally, the power is in the hands of you, me, everybody, of the people, and therefore that power will be then used by the people to see how they can defend themselves against dictatorial rule. So it's going in phases. So on our part, yes, we are confident that we'll be able to stop. You know, it's the power of ideas that we are relying upon. It's not the power of a physical weapon. It's not the power of a building. It's not the power of this gadget, but the power of the people of Zimbabwe, about 16 million people. That is what shall decide convincingly how to stop. Should Mnangagwa continue, then it's similar to action that was taken by Ian Douglas Smith, UDI, running a government for 15 years with a war going on. And he ended up being defeated through the Lancaster House talks. So we hope that Mr. Mnangagwa is somebody who participated in the liberation struggle of this country, will not have illusions about doing what has failed for 90 years, 1980. The colonial governments were dictating. They were running a military government with the constitutions of their own, based on skin color, oppressing Africans, this country, ourselves. But then talks were done by our forefathers peacefully in order to change, but they remain impervious to reason. Smith remained impervious to reason, and he then threw the nation into a war. Some called it a civil war, to say it is a war by tradition. And then arms of war were taken, and we were given a basis in Mozambique, Zambia, Botswana, including faraway Tanzania, to organize an armed struggle. We hope that reason will prevail on Mnangagwa and his team to really listen to the people and play ball. Let's have elections. If we were to be granted our view, including those pre-statements, there is national democratic winning. We called for democratic elections then, but because we are now in a constitutional agreement that Mr. Mnangagwa would pack his bags and go in 2028 and have elections, we then said, okay, let's do our work with that scheduled election to take place. Now, if he continues, Mr. Mnangagwa, with his conspiration, it is his decision, because the people of this country are not happy and they've rejected what is happening. And so, yeah, it's a fundamental question you have asked. Here's the follow-up to Maduku's question. And it should be very clear to you as journalists as to our position. So we'll continue consulting the people of Zimbabwe, and they shall give us wisdom of positions to take, and pave way for elections and legitimate governments to attend to the business of leading this nation as is expected of a government structure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Secretary, for that response. And if there are no further questions, okay, my brother.
Yeah, Aaron, freelance. I would like to know if the National Democratic Working Group going to take a legal route, like a court challenge, route we are about to follow, or who we are about to do, so that the government may take it to full court. Because I think the press statements, I don't think they take it to press statements.
Thank you, Brother Aaron, for that question. As we've asked, we are saying, is the NDWG going to have legal action against this amendment bill number 3?
Yes, but also, are you going to work with other political actors like in your question, or both states, like in the event that the Zimbabwe professional took and the operations are doing the court challenge, are you also together with that?
Okay, you've actually expanded your question. Let me just retake it once again.
Okay.
We've said, is NDWG going to take legal route or action against this amendment bill number 3, or organize people to protest? And then we expanded to say, are you also going to engage other players in fighting against this course of action of drowning our constitution? There you are, another question which has been posed by Brother Aaron.
Oh yes, sorry, I can start again because it's a follow-up. Thank you for the question, Aaron. Because it's calling for clarification here. The NW National Democratic Working Group is a consultative social justice movement. We have been consulting the people of Zimbabwe for 2 years now. That statement answers part of who we can work with. As a consultative movement, we work with everyone in this country, here to home in the diaspora. And therefore, we welcome very much the action that was taken by the war veterans, being represented by Professor Moma Dugu in the constitutional court case to be handled. We are together because it's an avenue of letting Mnangagwa government know of the feeling of those people who took up guns and fought for the liberation of this country. And they are doing it in an orderly fashion, not holding guns and beating people like what they did to Dr. Professor Moma Dugu when they invaded his private property, was meeting with his members. The NDWG is working with all the groups in the country, all the political formations, all the civic formations, all human rights organizations, all companies, all vendors, all churches of good intent, everyone right across the board, men and women, youth in the colleges, youth in the streets there. And therefore, we are already working with them anyway. This is why in February 2025, to be exact 18, we welcomed the Gaza Revolution from that quarter, which means it doesn't matter where a person is politically. It doesn't matter what jacket you put on. We are all citizens of this country. So we talk to citizens of this country, even those who are civil servants, those who are in the security sectors, in the CIO, in the peace, in the army, in the MID, as long as that person is a citizen of this country, the person has rights that we work with and that we represent. What was the second part of the question?
No, the actually answered both.
Both. Okay, that's fine. But if I answered you, you can have a further clarification. Aaron, it's clear, isn't it? Yeah, that's correct.
It's now 12:02, which is an hour which has elapsed since commencing this press conference. I think if there's any other word present pending, we are just going to take one question and conclude. It seems you've exhausted all your questions. Thank you once again, the fourth estate, for gracing. Maybe you want to say something. Okay. He was still consulting with other co-presenters there to find out whether there's anything to add. But as I earlier on alluded, I thank you very much for your presence, for coming to cover this press conference. And we engage you in the future presses which will come and you'll be notified. Thank you and have a nice day.
National Democratic Working Group, NDWG Harare Province, where their representatives shared their perspectives on Constitutional Amendment 3 and Agenda 2030. At Champions Network TV, in collaboration with NDWG TV, we remain committed to bringing you important conversations that shape our societies and influence the future of our communities. Thank you to the members of the media who attended and engaged in this discussion. Stay connected with Champions Network TV for more updates, discussions, and voices that matter. From us, it's